Aloha ahihahiya aukoa polo, which means good evening to all of you. Before I go on, I find that some of you have brought your rocks that you have taken, and they're here. I'm leaving them till tomorrow, because I do not like to do anything after sundown. It's quite late, and the areas from which you have picked them up has been pretty potent. In fact, most of them are. But I would like to have each and every one of you, or if you know someone in your group that has picked up some of these rocks, I would appreciate them bringing them here. Because we're going to make it a class project to demagnetize the energy and return it to the source. What you want to do with it is your prerogative. But as I said on the bus yesterday, I did a quick umbrella coverage because I had a specific mission to do, is to go to Koloko and Honokohau. But a lot of these things were detriment as far as the forces were concerned. And so I felt that we had to do an umbrella coverage to kind of help me with my situation. And I went ahead anyway. But it was rather interesting to see the two types of factions there existed in any group, I would say, not only here. Well, I think everyone was confused because we didn't have a guide. But you see, all these detriments, there were reasons. We had these rocks in a car, and they were detriments. Although I did a rough Ho'oponopono on a bus to enable me to get to Koloko. That was my great objective. The objective was to continue and to help in the preservation or the success of that particular project. And nothing was going to stop me. So this is why I feel that tomorrow I would like to have all of you to bring your rocks here, and we'll make it a class project that we will work it in the true Ho'oponopono form. Now don't feel that because we have done Ho'oponopono on the rocks and this is fine. That's a lick in the promise. Because some of those rocks are highly energized. In fact, all of them. Now there's some of you in the audience, I don't know whether you're here, have been greatly affected by the presence of these rocks in your possession. And to the point it has created a traumatic physical experience. And some of these rocks, might I add, I'll show you. See, the point is, let's see. Take this piece of rock. This piece of rock is small. However, I've had a piece as small as that. I was about ready to create the death of 4 people because of the activity within this, the energy force. Is Dr. Hott in the audience? She did not come. Okay. Well, I just want to share with you, to sort of give you an idea how very serious this is. I know that when Kepa told you, well, with the right spirit and the right thought, that you can take it with you. Of course, I have worked in this field for a long time, and I know the activity of this, and it's not easy. And it's not easy just to say, I demagnetize this and it's gone. Because there's a lot of heavy energy in this. And I do not call it negative. It's just that it's so high-powered that you are not capable of coping with it. And because the attitude that you have, well, I want this as a memento, a souvenir, it is not to be regarded as that. And as all the other speakers have spoken, particularly Mrs. Johnson, it kind of gives you a true flavor of how we regard everything. Now, I noticed in our trip over to Baha'u'llah, which is the red-mouthed Hayao, there was some, in spite of the talk that the the lecturer gave us, still picked a rock, threw it here, went up on a mound and threw the rock down. What do you consider that? To us, it's a desecration. It's almost like a little kid running up on a hill and throwing pellets down. Because there isn't that spirit of reverence and love. But when you have the spirit of reverence and love, you would regard it with great dignity. And so I think that this is a true experience for all of you. This is why I have wanted this session to be here, because it has all the old things here, the cultures, and you're away from everybody so you will not be distracted. You're out in the boondocks so I can have your attention, my speakers can have your attention, and I think that what has been shared so far, concluded tomorrow, every speaker has something to contribute. So take it as the greatest treasure you've ever had been given in your whole life. So this thing, every one of them is hot. Now sometimes you put it up this way, you could see the flash of the light, of the fire force, because this is made of fire. Oh. Now at our home, at our apartment, as we were talking, we had a little meditation, and this warrior came in very angry because of the fact that we had desecrated the land. So we tried to work it out. We did Ho'oponopono, and that eased the situation and helped it to bring balance to it. But you folks have not had that experience as we've had in our little meditation last night. And several others have experienced the traumatic experience that no doctor, I guarantee you, can ever heal. Because I've had these situations, and so I'd like you to know that. It isn't so sad after all, but I think it is a great experience, because only unless when we have traumatic situations are we moved to find solutions for them. And everything went on serene. I don't think we learn as much. So I would like to have someone come up, and a young man, please. Because I have women around so much, I need men around me to create that polarity. I think there was offered, so it's your responsibility to see that they get those rocks here. So I'm not going to cleanse it now because I cannot cleanse them until those rocks are here. I know how many there are, and I want to have them accounted for. Okay? Yes.
Does it go for shells and these kind of things that you pick up?
It's okay. Bring them in. But the lava rocks are most important, particularly when we went up there. But there are a lot of sacred areas around here. And in my meditation, I picked up a lot of you have been running around desecrating those grounds. And so, unbeknownst to you, that they are sacred. Yes?
Morrnah, I have a Hawaiian friend here, and the first year that I came, he told us, my husband and me, that you take nothing from Hawaii but your memories.
That's true. So there's also two aspects to this whole deal. You know, what are all of you seeking? Are you seeking truth? Are you seeking wisdom? Or are you seeking materiality? If you feel you need the rocks, then that shows you're still clinging on to the material values of life. But don't do it because you have to, but do it because you feel in here. This is what you want to do. We're going to demagnetize them, no question. But what you do after that is your prerogative, because they're clean. But I do not anticipate any rocks taken away from the group without having cleansed. So we'll do that before our afternoon session. Because our afternoon session is one of the most special sessions. However, you are free to do what you want. You want to come to the session, fine. You want to do shopping, that's fine too. So it's your prerogative. Yeah.
So on the tour, I kept us permission. There was a branch of an Ohello, just a little tiny branch with berries on it, and it had been broken off. And he said it was all right for me to take it. So how do you feel about that?
Well, in taking it, the spirit of it was to accord to the nature spirit from wherever it came. He said, just say a blessing, I'm taking this in love, and ask permission to. Well, it reminds me of a story about last year. I came down for some sort of an in-depth work with Pele. And in doing so, in my last trip going home, and I thought, well, I take home a bush of the Ohello. And I said, I would like to take the bush. He says, you leave that bush right there. You may take the fruit, but not the bush. Because I am from the Pele line, I thought I could get it, but it is not so. So this is why I'm just telling you my experience.
Would you take them back?
Take,
Leave them? Will you take them back where they came from? The rock?
no, we just leave them here. We demagnetize them, and we release, in this process, we're releasing the entire energy back to the source.
I'm afraid I got two disturbing dreams this morning. I'm afraid.
Well, there were a lot of people who broke out with rash, sores, and believe me, none of the doctors in the world can help you. Because you are working with forces far beyond your ability to cope with. It's not something to be feared. I don't want you to feel it's to be feared. Now, if we had a 1,000-volt line up here and I reached up and touched it, I do not have the ability to protect myself to handle that high frequency. It is not negative. It's just we who are ignorant are handling something beyond our own ability. So we look at that high energy with reverence and love. Does that understand? Yes.
I was using black sand on the beach. Maybe the rocks crushed up.
Black sand? Black sand, rocks, they're all the same. Okay.
They've got the postcards, they have the little pieces, the little black sand in it. What's the difference in that?
Same thing. Years ago, let me tell you, years ago, I knew about these things, so I pushed it behind, put it on a shelf. And I was in a travel business, so I decided to go into commercializing these rocks. Took the rocks home, down to Honolulu, broke them up. Now remember, I know better, but I still went through with this process. You can make a fast buck by putting it in boxes and sending it to the tourists. Demagnetize them, of course. But what happened, I felt the energy was awfully strong, and I was violating a trust that I should not have done. So I decided to take it to the ocean, to someone, and in getting in the car, my daughter got her hand in the hinge, and she was lifting herself up when I automatically slammed, and both her hands were crushed. And I realized it was a force greater than I anticipated. But I healed. I immediately went and put Life magazine as a splint to immobilize her hand, and did the La'okahea, and forgot about her. Then took the rocks, and that was the end of that session. So I probably am one of those people who need to be proven. So I too make mistakes. So I think that's all that's coming in at the present time. Father, Mother, Son, as one. Hallowed be thy name. Thy regal is come. Thy wish is done, on earth as it is in all the heavens. Give us each day our holy bread. Forgive us as we forgive our brothers and sisters. Lead us out of temptation into ever greater light. deliver us from the bonds of ignorance. For thine is the regaldom and the power and the glory forever and evermore. Amen. I come forth from the void into light. I am the breath that nurtures life. I am that emptiness and that hollowness beyond all consciousness. The I, the id, the all. I draw my bow of rainbows across the waters, the continuum of minds with matters. I'm the incoming and the outgoing breath, the invisible, untouchable breeze, the undefinable atom of creation. I am the I. Thank you. I'd like to explain about this prayer. I got this prayer through the I across the desert, the desert of Sinai, and the prayer was told to me that it is the foundation stone of the new age, the age of I, or the age of Aquarius. Hui kala mai o ia mako opo. Kena nui ha'a kuneu. Ia oku baka ia po, ia kāne, ia lono, ia ku, ia kanalo, hina. Ako komini mako i ke la. Noko ho mai mai ani nā pōhaku. I lawi i mai e nā poe. Hoa o ko mako a. Ua hehi ku. Ua hapuku no i ke mau. Mahele a paulo o ka aina kione. Ke koa. Ke kain ho i o mako. Hele kune e hehi ku i nā hei iu. Ina mahele ke ole a pau o ka aina. Hui kala mai o ia mako. O kia hoka awale ko oi nā popili kia. Kia ke ani ia mako paka ia pau. Pela nui me ka ahui huna mako. Pela nui me ko mako o hana pau. Hoku oku oi ia mako paka ia pau i roho ku malahele o malamalama. Ho mai nā ko ku a pau a uku i mo mako a pau. I ka aka ai ko mako mo maka. I nā hana no i au. Nā mana. A nā mana lani. I olo hoi mako paka i a pau. Huli ki alo ka aini luna. A mama. Au wanoa. Join me in thought. Divine Creator, Father, Mother, Son as one. We who are gathered here humbly ask you for forgiveness if we have offended you, and all the divine forces of the land, of the ocean, of the atmosphere, the four corners of the universe, above and below, in thoughts, words, deeds, and actions, from the beginning of our creation to the present. Please forgive and release us spiritually, mentally, physically, materially, financially, and karmically. Sever, cut all the unwanted negative vibrations that we have accumulated and or created from the beginning to the present. Transmute all of these vibrations to pure light, and it is done. Divine Creator, Father, Mother, Son as one. We who are gathered here, who have, out of ignorance, desecrated the sacred lands, the sacred areas. We humbly ask for forgiveness. We come before you, and the forces that are on the table, all of the rocks that we have placed before, we humbly ask for forgiveness. Sever, cut, and transmute all of these unwanted memories, blocks, energies, and vibrations to pure light. Transmute them, every energy in this room, on us, on the premises, completely to pure light. And it is done. To the forces that are on these specimens that we have on the table, we ask that we be set free. That we too will be allowed to move into the light. Amama Wanoa. Thank you. As you rest for a little while, we will call a recess and